Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, basically, we're going to actually take this hard drive apart and have a look at it and see the difference between this hard drive and the one that was in the previous video. As you've probably noticed by the resolution of this video, I've managed to get my little HD camera working again. There's no battery in it. It's now working. It's now working straight off the power, and it's also sellotaped together with some nice clear sellotape. So not exactly high tech, but first of all, the first video, first part of the video, as it were, is you know, the old see-through clear tape here, which is very important when you're repairing stuff, you know. Well, if you're MacGyver, it's very important. No, that's duct tape. Well, close enough. Anyway, let's hear what this hard drive says at the moment. Let's have a listen to it. By the way, the last time I had this hard drive on, well, not truly true, I suppose, but the last time I tested this hard drive was the 30th of July 2005, as you see here, I've written on it. Now, at that stage, I had a load of these hard drives from Western Digital, from Seagate, from Connor Peripherals, from Maxtor, from Quantum, you know, a whole load of different hard drives. And basically, I was trying to figure out which ones were good, which ones were dud. Some of the hard drives were taken from machines where customers had to upgrade their PCs. Some were taken from machines where the hard drive had actually failed, or was failing, or was clicking. One of the more famous noises that these particular hard drives made, and these are the ones that I seem to always replace. When a hard drive was failing, it was always a Western Digital. That was just my experience. But I'm not saying I didn't come across a hell of a lot of Quantums and a good few Seagates. But by and far, at the time, Western Digital were the biggest hard drives I came across that were failing. And the noise that these guys made when they failed was like a ping pong ball dropping, which unfortunately this one isn't doing, but it is making another interesting noise. This Quantum hard drive here, which has also failed, so just to show I'm not showing favoritism, basically it stopped spinning. So even when I plug this hard drive in now, it won't spin up. It'll just sit there and do nothing, you know. So that's what happened to that one. So it could be the motor or the board or a range of different things. Now, as I said in the previous video, if you've got a working hard drive, this one isn't working, it's faulty, and all the seals are in place still, don't go taking apart the hard drive. If you've got data on it you want to save, have it professionally looked at, because once you open the hard drive, like this one here, again, as I said in the last video, a bit of dust gets on the hard drive, a bit of dust goes underneath the little head, and the head then starts to scrape, and you're going to lose all that data. It's just not going to work. So the advice is, fail hard drive, get looked at professionally. Now, one thing you could try yourself, and that's the reason why people do look at YouTube, one thing you could try yourself is try get a new motherboard for the hard drive. So if you've got two hard drives the same, let's say in a setup where you have two modern hard drives, I'll just show you a more modern hard drive from Western Digital, which is perfectly working, and it's a good hard drive. This is a Western Digital 500 gig. Now, let's say this hard drive here started giving trouble. One of the more common replacements to do, and most people who want to recover your data will do, is they'll just simply replace this board. So, try find this board on the internet. I won't suggest any sites, but try to find this board on the internet, reading this model number on the back here, and also, well, that could also be a serial number linked into the hard drive directly, but you'll see there's a part number on there. Okay, so that part number and the actual model number of the hard drive itself will be important into finding that particular board. And once you find that board, then you can try put it on and see if your data comes back again. Because a lot of hard drives fail not because the actual hard drive itself is physically damaged or physically broken, but because that actual motherboard fails. So this motherboard here, for example, on this hard drive is most likely okay. But I'm not going to get many of these hard drives in for repair at this stage, you know. This hard drive here, for example, has failed as well, and the motherboard is probably working in this one okay again, but again, with the clicking noise at the back, with the banging noise at the back, it could be motherboard failure. So let's turn it on and have a listen to it. And as you can hear that they're clicking and banging away. Now what we're going to do is we're going to strip down this hard drive. We're then going to have a look at the inside of the hard drive, and hopefully it'll still be running. I mean, watch that little head going, you know, back and forth and clicking. As you can hear now, the hard drive is now turned off. Just in case you're wondering, I've powered this hard drive up with the StarTech.com hard drive transfer box. This box is handy enough if you want to transfer an old hard drive to a new hard drive. If you're migrating from an older, let's say this one here, 2 GB, to the bigger, let's say 500 GB, because it'll work with both SATA and PATA drives, no problem at all. Okay? So if you had this old hard drive here, which is very unlikely you'd have a 2 gig hard drive in your new, triple core or quad core or Phenom X5 or whatever. Phenom X5. It's unlikely you're going to have a hard drive this size in a modern multi-core processing computer. It's just not going to happen. If you do, then the machine is going to be bottlenecked by the speed of the hard drive. But let's say you did. And let's say the hard drive you wanted to upgrade to a bigger 500 gig. You can use the StarTech machine here and you can transfer the data over. Or what I use quite a bit is I actually use the Seagate Disk Wizard software from, what's the name of the company that makes it? I'm going to get the name wrong, so I'm not going to say it. Best thing to do is have a look at the Seagate website. The software in there called Disk Wizard that'll let you transfer from a hard drive to a hard drive. One little thing to mention though is you have to have a Seagate hard drive in it, whether it be the slave hard drive or whether it be the one you're transferring to. Okay. The clicking and banging is, like I said, could be the motherboard. I've changed the motherboard on this one already. It made no difference. It was still clicking and banging, so it must be a fault inside. So we are going to take it apart and we are going to have a look on the inside of it. And we'll do that in the next video. That way I can try and set up the camera in such a way that, you're just seeing the hard drive. Okay? So that's a handy little box to have. Bit expensive, but very handy if you're doing an awful lot of hard drive transfers, or if you're doing with Seagate hard drives, Seagate Disk Wizard, hard drive to hard drive, and away you go. Okay? So let's go with that, and I'll be back in a mo.